Hi guys, I'm back to show you how we do the Grinch Hot Chocolate Bomb. These are really fun to make and you'll see why. Again, I got my molds like I showed you before. I got 2 packs of 6 and I cut them right along the edge, round, nice and even, and that way they fit perfectly in a cupcake pan. It's easy to move around. I've already pre-made my chocolate because it takes a little bit of time to get the color and whatnot. So we want to get a green, of course, for the Grinch. So what I'm going to show you is what I use, the products I use. The first one that I use is my melts. These are from Michael's. Now this one, they only had the light green this time of year, of course. You could use a little bit darker one and then not have to add any color. But I always mix it in with some of the Ghirardelli's white chocolate. I don't like the taste of the melts alone, and it's a little stiff for my taste. If the color doesn't end up right, just mix in a little bit of the color. Make sure that it is candy color. We cannot use regular food coloring because it has water as the main ingredients, which seizes your chocolate. So it has to be candy color. Alright, like always, we're going to start. Put in about a tablespoon and a little bit more than a tablespoon into your mold. You want to have an excess in there because you're going to go back for the second round. Go ahead and roll your mold all the way around, taking that chocolate right to the edge. It will bubble right over the edge, and get it all the way around till it gets a nice coat, and then go ahead and leave your excess inside. Do not dump that out until the second time around. So I'm going to show you one more time before I speed up the video. We're going to go ahead and put about a little bit more than a tablespoon in there. Get it rolling. If you lean it over, it'll bubble right up to the edge. There's a little lip that kind of holds it in there, but if you get it over, it's not a big deal. And just roll it all the way around until you cover the whole entire edge, and then we'll put them in there and we'll continue with all 12 of them. Alright, so we got all 12 done for one time around. As you can see, there's a little bit left under each one, cupped in the bottom. And now we're going to go ahead and use that to coat around for the second time. I let them sit for just a little bit, not long enough that they get hard, but just enough that the coat is going to stay. Then we get the second round going, do the same exact thing, take that excess and just roll it around. Of course, you're going to see that the excess is going to get less and less, especially the second time around. It coats a little bit thicker because it's cooler than the first time around. And once you're done going all the way around for the second time, just flip it over and get that excess out, get it right to the edge, and you're done. If anything comes out on the edge, just get a spatula and wipe it right off. It makes for a nice smooth edge. Okay, so we got all 12 done. We're ready to put them in the fridge for a little bit. It doesn't matter that you have drips on the inside. Remember, nobody's gonna see that. So just put it in the fridge for about 5 to 7 minutes and it gets hard pretty well. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna make the candy to go on top. These are the little hearts that I place on top of the Grinch Hot Chocolate Bomb. I use this mold that I got on Amazon. and I'm going to use candy melts in here, the same brand candy melts from Michael's, and I'll put a link to them except the red ones. And I use these pastry bags called Craft Fit. I got these online through Amazon, but they're wonderful because you can microwave them, so we don't have to dirty a bowl to mix and put in there. Again, the mold I got on Amazon, I'll add the link below so you can see where I got them. You get the candy melt, put it in your pastry bag. I put it in the microwave for 1 minute for 50% power, and then I smush it around, and then I go again 30 seconds, 50% power until it's nice and soft. And every time from there, do it at 30-second intervals for 50% power. I use a little craft quilt clip to hold it closed if it's already cut open, but if not, cut it open. I fill the molds probably just about 1/4 of the way. It doesn't have to be thick. These are pretty thick, so it doesn't need to be filled completely. Once they're inside and you fill the mold to the depth that you want, make sure that you pound it down to get the air bubbles out and to flatten it as much as possible. It is very flimsy being silicone, so I like to put it on a little plate or something. That way it gets nice and smooth, and it's actually easier to transfer around. Again, same thing, put it in the fridge for about 5-10 minutes, and we'll leave them in there while we're taking out our shells. Our shells are done. They're nice and hard. You can see on the outside, you feel them on the inside before taking out. We're going to separate our shells, and I just put them into cupcake liners. Again, first slick around the edge of it. Just snap that little lip a little bit to make sure it comes off from the chocolate, or else it will crack the chocolate when you pull off the silicone. Just put it in your cupcake liner. You can see it's nice and smooth, nice and shiny the way we like it. Of course, later we get finger smudges on it, but that's okay. They come out nice and even, and like I said, just transfer all to a cupcake liner. I'm going to get everything prepped for filling the hot chocolate bombs. I put out a piece of parchment paper when I'm doing larger amounts. On this one, I'm just going to do 3 of them. Sometimes I'm doing 20 or more than that. Just parchment paper is really nice because you could do everything on the parchment paper, including the decorating, and at the end of the day, it's easy click up and easy wipe down. I'm going to use my hot chocolate mix. Some people like to put white chocolate in it. I find that most people ask me for regular chocolate, so I just go ahead and make them with regular chocolate. I use the Ghirardelli's Majestic cocoa powder that I got on Amazon, and the link will be below also. And I mix it with sugar. For large batches, I put 1 cup of sugar and 1/3 cup of the cocoa, or else 1 tablespoon of the cocoa and 1 tablespoon of the sugar and teaspoon of the cocoa. My marshmallows I got on Amazon, and the links are below. And then these are just regular Jet Puff marshmallows that you get at grocery store, Target, Walmart, wherever you need to get them. Now, as a special treat, the Grinch ones get a heart marshmallow. Just like the story, it starts with a small heart, and afterwards it grows into a bigger heart. That's the story behind it. I get these out of the Lucky Charm marshmallows. Yes, I know I have to pick them out of there. It's not as many, but they're fun to do, and I figured I'd use the other marshmallows later for other stuff. So we're going to use those heart ones. So first thing is first, we're going to start putting in all the hot cocoa on all of these. So let's start warming it up. We're going to use a nice flat level surface. Some people use plates, some people use pans. It's personal preference. I put my pan, I warm it up, and I move it off the direct heat. Now again, we're going to warm up both sides. Both halves need to go on the pan. Even though we're going to put stuff in it, we're going to put them both on the pan so that we can get a nice flat, smooth edge on both sides. It'll make it so much easier to connect when we put the top on, when both sides are nice and flat. Just put it on there just for a couple seconds until they're nice and smooth, and then we start filling. I just use about a tablespoon of my mixture. Again, it's 1 tablespoon of sugar to a teaspoon of cocoa. And once I mix that, I put 1 tablespoon of the mixture together. into the bomb. I then get my dehydrated marshmallows. I do these, I love these for fun. Some people like the little crispness of the small little marshmallows, so I like to use these. Again, those are from Amazon. I'll put the link so you can find those if you want to. After I put the small dehydrated marshmallows, I put my heart in the middle. And once they're all filled with the hearts, then we just use the regular mini Jet Puff marshmallows and we fill up the rest. Now, I like to try to keep the marshmallows off the edge because sometimes if they're close to the edge, when you try to put on the top half, it'll get stuck on a marshmallow. Sometimes the marshmallow will come out, it'll stick out, it'll melt because of the heat of the warm chocolate on the shell. It could be a mess and it kind of looks weird to have some white spots coming out when you're making a green ball. So just try to keep them right off the edge. Okay, so now they're all done. I try to get my pan a little warm again, put it back on the heat, let it warm up just a little bit. Doesn't have to be really hot. And like I said, I like to give it a little heat and then take it off so it's not overly hot. You don't want it to melt your chocolate. You want it to flatten it out a little bit, make it warm and soft so that the two edges do bind. Get the top half, put it on, do the same thing. Just rub it on there. I like to spin it, get it nice and smooth, line up my edges, and just like that, you're gonna have a chocolate bomb. I make sure that you go around and check all the edges. When you do, some of the chocolate will spill out. I just rub it right back in, make it a nice smooth edge. Every once in a while your edges will get little holes in them. Maybe it's not pushed down enough. Easily just get some of the chocolate on your pan. I like to let it cool a little bit. Don't put it on too hard and just use that chocolate to patch up. Fill in the little holes, smooth it out, and you won't even know. That way your mix does not come out of your bomb or your bomb won't crack. All right, so now we're ready to decorate. Bring the bombs back up. Same thing, we're gonna use the candy melts and we're gonna put them in the microwave for the same amount of time, 1 minute at 50% power to start, and then 30-second intervals after that at 50% power to get it nice and soft, and just squish it in your hands. Make sure all the pieces are squished down and it's soft. Our candy hearts are ready. Super easy, just pop them out of the mold and they're ready to use for decoration. All right, so we get our candy melt in our piping bags. make a small circle, cut a small circle, and then just easy enough, go back and forth. I like to go both directions just to get it nice and full on the top. It gives it a nice pretty decoration on the top instead of just a plain ball. And when you do your edges, if you have palms, this is a great way to hide them. People are not going to notice when you have a nice little drizzle on top of your bombs. Once I'm done, I get my candy melt that I prepared the hearts. Just put a little bit of the hot melt on top of that so that it's like a glue that's going to hold that heart in. And you just place them right on top. And easy as that, you have a nicely decorated Grinch Hot Chocolate Bomb. Once done, they're all decorated. Let them sit there a little bit, let them harden up, and just get your cupcake liners. Now once I go to put them in for a customer, I do go ahead and put them, or even as a gift, put them in a nice cupcake liner. I bought these Christmas ones for this time, and then I just used the white ones to transfer and do the other stuff. But there you go, there's your Grinch Hot Chocolate Bomb. Now, as always, we're gonna see how this melts, how this opens and it pops open. Remember, this one has a surprise inside. For those who you're giving it to, they're gonna see that mean old Grinch's heart grow from the little teeny candy melt on the top to the big old heart that we have inside. Beautiful. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thanks guys for watching. Any questions, make sure you post in the comments, and I'll have some new videos and new flavors coming up soon.